In this video, we're going to take a look at the wall systems within the Keystone library and make a selection for the wall that is going to enclose the second level of our building. So one thing I usually like to do is in the 3D view, I like to change over to at least a shaded view of our Keystone library, and that way you can see some of the detailing a little bit in the 3D view. But I like to do a lot of my drawing and everything in a lot of the plan views. But the one thing I want to show you will be the type of walls that we have available. So whenever you select a wall from your type properties selector, you do have a few ones. You'll have like brick and CMU on metal stud. You have brick and CMU on metal stud 2, 3, and 4 within this file, as well as like a brick on metal stud and a brick on metal stud 2. So when you're going to select a wall, you have to think about, well, what's going to make up the structure of the wall and everything there. So not only do you have metal stud, you have concrete masonry unit, which is what this wall is made of. So when you look, here's your concrete masonry units, the gray block at the bottom. You have the brick, and then for the main structure, you have metal studs that are acting in that place for that particular structure. So some of the other things that I want to show you is when we go to edit type, we do need to make sure that the preview is open. And in order to go through and see some of these features, you need to make sure that you have, let me bring that window in a little bit, you need to have the section view shown. So like here is what we're looking at. When I go to edit the structure, you're going to see down here, you're going to have modify the vertical structure, which is in the section preview only, which is kind of what we just turned on. But here you can see what are the different thicknesses, the materials that are there, and this is going to help us later when we go to create, for example, section views to be able to label some of those elements. But here I want to show you some of the different extra features that you have. So up here at the top, you have something known as a parapet. So that's under sweeps. So here you have a parapet, which is a cap. It's a precast concrete, and it's set right at the top, and that's what gives that kind of decorative top piece. A sill that's precast. So the sill in this case is going to be right down here, and it's this little component right here. The other part is going to be in something called reveals. So you're going to notice there are three bricks, and if I select, for example, number 3, it'll highlight in our section view. So 2 is up here toward the top. If I select it, it highlights. So you can either look at, possibly removing some of those or anything like that. You will want to duplicate the wall beforehand, but a lot of the view types or the wall types that are in here for our, in the properties palette, I've already done that. So you're going to notice here, this wall has something a little extra here at the top, and this is known as, so when I edit the type and go into the properties for the sweeps, I'm going to have a wall sweep, which is a brick soldier course, and so that highlights there in that particular section view. So the soldier course is there, and what I've done is in the walls that are toward the bottom, it just didn't look real good to have it, is I've taken away that soldier course. So that's why we get, this one is brick and CMU on metal stud 4. When I select this wall, this is brick and CMU on metal stud 2. So these are just kind of some modifications that have been made. And as we get ready to take a look at what we're going to do for the wall on column line 3, that's going to be something we want to keep in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and move to level 2. Here is what we're going to end up having. We will have our wall that will be put in to enclose the second level, and I'm going to make a selection to go through and do so. So I'm going to choose wall, and in my type properties, I kind of already know because I've set up this particular wall type, is in terms of best selection, I'm going to pick just brick on metal stud, because to have all that concrete masonry unit weight on that second level and have to think about all the structural framing below having to support it, I want to go through and actually choose something that's kind of lightweight but still very strong. And actually, so the brick on metal stud, I'll go ahead and choose it, and actually I'm going to make a choice later just to go through and show. But here's what I will do, is right here I'm going to actually draw this not exactly on the column line, And I'm going to go ahead and just draw a wall in and not even worry about making it the exact length that it needs to be. I want to make sure the arrows are flipped to the exterior, so to the outside, to the left side here, so that way the wall's facing in the right position. Now, when I go to align this, when I look at, and if you're not seeing this, you do need to change your detail level to fine, so that way you can see the layers in the wall, and I'll drag this just a little closer, and here's our structural column in which we're going to attach to. So when I look at this wall, you're going to notice that I've got one kind of rectangle, or like two lines that represent the gypsum wallboard. Here's the metal stud, which is the large white portion. We get into an air gap, and then we get into the brick. So we want to go through and fasten, when they construct the building, we want to fasten the structural column to the metal studs. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to select the wall, choose the align command. Now on the align command, I want to choose faces of core, because if I choose wall faces, it's not going to give me the option that you're going to see here in a moment. So faces of core. I'm going to zoom in here, and I want to click this little vertical line on the I-beam. So that's where I want the wall to go to. And on the wall, I want to zoom in here, and I want to make sure that I choose not the outside line but the inside line, because that's where the starting of our metal stud layer is. When I click that, they will go through and it will fasten. You're going to see the gypsum wallboard is going to get split by the I-beam in the two spots of where the flanges are at. And I'm going to go ahead and lock that position. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel a couple times. And now I'm going to go to the 3D view to show you what we've done. So now we went ahead and we set in this wall type. So here's what I'm going to do. So here's our exterior brick on metal stud. You're going to notice it doesn't have all of like the parapet on the top or the soldier course to match. So when I select the wall type that you have available, the brick on metal stud 2, is where those have been added in. So now you've got a parapet at the top, and you've got the soldier course of brick that is being put there as well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the wall, and then to go through and to make these connect, I'm going to choose Trim Extend to Corner. Select my wall, select the wall that I want to extend to. And when I do that, since I have that, now you're going to see the parapet's going to get a nice miter that gets put onto it, and like a chamfered edge. And I'm going to repeat that same step from here to here. So now I get a nice decorative top that matches our other walls in the building, as well as going through and having something lightweight that our structural framing is going to be able to support easily and not put extra stress on that particular case. So this now concludes our wall tutorial on how to, one, pick a good wall, but also looking at some of the details within Revit and being able to go through and apply that into your Keystone Library renovation.